today. I'm so excited to see each one of you on this call today. And as usual, is another session for the 3MTT webinar. And I can assure you that it's going to be an incredible session. Yeah. And just okay, yeah. So I can see many of you on the call. Please let us know where you're joining us from. So hi, I can see Adamu Abubakar. Hi, Adamu Abubakar. It's a pleasure to have you here. Where are you joining us from? I can see Ibrahim Katibi on the call. I can see Teddy Tech. Hey, Teddy Tech, how you doing? I can also see Aisha Tudauda. Hi, Aisha Tudauda, how you doing? I hope you're doing well and you are geared up for today's session, right? As usual, with the 3 million technical talents, we're always about building skills, sparking new ideas, and giving you the tools that you need to make waves in the field of tech, right? And today I'm excited about the topic that we're going to be discussing today. It's honestly, something that every tech person needs. And we're going to be talking about foundational skills for success, foundational skills for success in tech. And if you can see our screen, we have that displayed just so you know that we are ready, right? And now I know that you have all got, really big visions, and tech is moving faster than ever, always changing. You need to keep up with the trends and all that. So we are here to discuss how, you can get the foundational skills that you need to be successful in this tech business, right? And who better to take us on this journey than our incredible guest, someone that I am genuinely honored, to introduce to you and to have on this session today. So let me see responses from where we're joining in before I bring in our speaker, just so she knows that we have fellows from all over Nigeria. Plateau, Kano, Kaduna, Anambra. I can see that you're all represented here. Awesome. I think I have a good audience to be able to bring out our special speaker, who is none other than Adora Modo. And Adora is a senior software engineer, a multi-published author on cloud engineering, and an internationally recognized speaker, right? She has done a lot of projects and has, and is bringing her tech insights to people worldwide, right? So that's why I told you she's an international speaker. She's very inspiring and very passionate about sharing knowledge. But of course, that's why she's here, right? Because how many people can you say, how many people that are changing or shaping the future of tech will take out their very busy Monday to come and hang out with us, right? But we're so honored to have you here with us, Adora. Thank you so much. Before we dive in, I'd like to encourage us to please make this as interactive as possible so that it is worth her time. And I would love if you could just drop in the chat box what role you're currently exploring in tech and the skill that you're looking forward to develop. Let's get the journey going so she has an idea who she's speaking to and what the passion of her audience is, right? So without taking up too much time, please join me in giving a huge virtual warm welcome and emojis to Adora Umodo. Let me see the emojis coming in. Thank you, thank you. Hi, Adora.
Hi, can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you and we can see you.
All right, fantastic. So I'm just going to get right into it and start. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Because I'm aware that it's 5 p.m. currently in Lagos, 5:18 p.m. I hope your Monday is going okay. I hope things are going well for you. So today I'm just going to be talking about the foundational skills for success in tech and a couple of things sort of like around that. But before I even start, there's something I want you to understand because I want you to understand why this conversation or this topic is important, right? And it's mostly because people say that by 2030, technology will be, or rather by 2030, all companies will be tech companies. I personally don't believe that. However, I know that by 2030, technology will be integrated across a lot of industries. And we're seeing it happen today. You can't do banking without integrating technology. You can't do entertainment without integrating technology. You can't do some even to the extent of now ordering food, grocery shopping, all these kinds of things without integrating technology. Even regular businesses, businesses you would think are regular, transport industry is integrating technology. Oil and gas is integrating technology. Energy is integrating technology. So what does that tell you? There's something there, right? And obviously what this means is that technology is going to be integrated across many industries by 2030 or probably even before, if we're being very honest with the way things are going. And now to add value, it's important that you have a tech skill so that you are in the right position to be able to create value, capture value, add value to people, add value to businesses, be a relevant person in society. It's important that, you have some skill or the other, right? Some tech skill or the other. Um, and beyond these tech skills, I also want to say this, right? Because it's very important. Beyond these tech skills that you would have, you also need some soft skills because soft skills are very important as well. And when you think about it, it's like the foundational skills that you have in tech are important because they help you learn, they help you adapt. But when you combine your soft skills and your technical skills together, those foundational skills together, people can work well together, people can communicate clearly, people can solve tough problems. And obviously, as a result of that, you are able to make more impact, build better software, and do greater things, essentially. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. But before I start that, I just want to quickly introduce myself. Zara already kind of introduced me, but I want to give myself a short introduction as well. Hi, my name is Adora, and I'm a platform engineering manager, currently working across the intersections of cloud development and cloud infrastructure and developer platforms. I currently manage two teams across the US and the UK. I used to work at Microsoft. I was a software engineer. I spent about 4 years working there. And prior to my time at Microsoft, I used to work as a software developer in a digital agency called Nucleus. I spent about 3 years working there as well. Um, I'm also the founder of Nexa Skill. Nexa Skill is a non-profit currently helping people with their careers, helping them start their careers, helping them grow in their careers, connecting them to simulated work experiences. We do this through apprenticeships, hackathons, and other kinds of practical things that we do to help people grow their careers, right? And I've also written like three books on cloud engineering, and I've spoken at different conferences at different parts of the world. So it's very nice to be here today. I really want to thank the 3MTT team for that's a mouthful, so I have to say it. I have to pace myself when I say it. I want to thank the 3MTT team for inviting me because I think that this is an important conversation to have, and I'm glad that these conversations are being had. So now let's get to what the foundational skills in tech are. Those hard skills, those technical skills that, people are currently learning or taking courses for. And you should be at least in the process of learning one of these skills. And I'm going to talk about the skills and I'm going to talk about what it requires to learn each skill. So now let's talk about software engineering, which is sort of like the path that I am on. Before I became a manager anyway, I was a software engineer. I think I still am, to be very honest. Software engineering is, the process of designing, building, and maintaining software to ensure that they work efficiently and are also user-friendly. Um, this software could be, mobile apps, web apps. If you know VR, AR headsets, they could be apps that you can install on VR, AR headsets. They could be apps that you can install on your TV. There could be different apps that you can install even on your watch as well, in different places where applications can be launched, right? The most important thing is that the platform that it's getting installed in is capable enough to run software. So you would find that there are things like front-end developers. When you hear the word front-end developer or front-end engineer, right? A front-end engineer is someone that is currently building out the user interfaces, the UIs. If you've used, we are all currently on YouTube. So front-end engineers are the reason why you can actually press a button and something happens. You can actually watch this video because they've created the interface that you are using to consume that content. There's also back-end engineering. Back-end engineering is where it's the part you don't see, right? So it's the part that actually handles the entire data flow. And to be honest, programming generally is a data flow process, right? It's how to handle data flowing from point A to point B at every given point in time. But most of, the entire data flow business logic would happen on the back end side. And typically what happens is that a front-end engineer would make a request to a backend server to ask for information, and the backend um, server, written by the backend engineer, returns the response from that request back to the front-end engineer. Then the front-end engineer displays all of that on the screen that we see. Right? There's also mobile engineers. We all have our mobile phones, at least some of us do, right? I know that some people might not, right? Some people have their mobile phones. All the apps you see on your mobile phones are built by mobile engineers. Now, they're different kinds. They could be writing native mobile code using Swift for Apple. I don't know what Huawei uses, but Swift for Apple and Kotlin for Android, right? And they could also be doing cross-platform mobile development using tools like React Native, using tools like Flutter as well. I don't know how many people still write with Ionic, or if Ionic still exists. It used to be a framework that Angular also had for cross-platform mobile development far back in like 2016, 2017, 2015, that period. But I don't know if it still exists because I don't really know how many people use it these days. But there's also, desktop applications, right? On your Windows computer, on your Mac, on your Linux computer, the apps that you are able to run were built by software engineers as well, right? You also have like, your headsets, your wearables, your TVs. These apps that are there are also built by different kinds of engineers as well, right? You have VR, AR developers as well, right? So within front-end engineering, it's an umbrella for many things. Sorry, within software engineering, it's an umbrella for many things. So there are many kinds of roles that you can decide that you want to take in that context of software engineering. And one thing I always say to people is regardless of whatever that role is, it's important to I wrote an article called Crawl, Walk, Run, Fly a while ago, and I could actually share it with the 3MTT team, share a link with the 3MTT team to share it with you because I think it's a fantastic read, especially for people early on in their career, right? If you're trying to be a front-end, a software engineer, it's important that you start with the foundations, you start with the basics. Think about it like this. If you want to build a house and you build a very tiny hut, if you build a tiny hut on sticks, it might be fine, right? If you decide that you now want that tiny hut that could accommodate one person now to accommodate 10 people, it might be fine still on sticks. However, if you wanted to build a tall high-rise building, like the kinds you see on TV in, the biggest cities in the world, Paris, New York, all these things, you can't build it on the sticks because if you tried, that house will collapse. The point is, laying foundations are very important. So as you lay foundations to build houses, as you lay foundations for anything that you do, right? Even in cooking, there are steps. You do things first before you do other things, right? Laying foundations are very important. So if you were going to become a software engineer, the foundation is to learn the basics of computer science and the fundamentals of programming. And there's this course that I always recommend to people. It's called the Harvard CS50 course. Please write it down. Please, I want to see someone write it down in the comment section to be sure that you people are listening. Harvard, like Harvard University, Harvard CS50, Harvard CS50. This course, if someone writes it in the comments, that would be fantastic because other people can see it in the comments and then, go and Google it as well. It's a free course. What this course does is that it opens up your mind to, and it's a course delivered by Harvard University, one of the best universities in the world, right? It opens up your mind to the fundamentals of computer science and you can learn things for free. So I would suggest that you take the Harvard CS50 course. And start from there. Once you take that course, you can now start your journey into software engineering. That's a fundamental place that you can start from. The next thing I want to talk about is data analysis, right? Data analysis has business sides to it. There's machine learning, there's data analytics, there's data engineering, there's business analytics as well. And the point of data analytics is just the ability to interpret and draw insights from data so that businesses are able to make more informed decisions based on trends and metrics that they see in that data, right? So as someone working in the data is how we make sense of the world. For example, if you look at me and I smile at you, you're able to infer that, okay, Adora is probably happy with me. Adora is probably pleased with me. There's something making Adora smile. And that's because you got data from my smile, right? So data is how we make sense of the world. You make decisions in your life every day based on the data that you gather from things happening around you. And now taking that in the context of businesses also want to make decisions. Businesses also want to be sure that the decisions they are making are the right decisions. They want to be sure that the decisions that they are making are decisions that can fetch them money, help them grow their business, keep their customers happy, right? So data analysis is also an important field in technology today. And like I said, it's an umbrella term as well for different things. There's data engineering, which is like, engineering in the context of, data, using data in the context of like applications and things like that. There's machine learning because everybody's talking about AI today, AI, 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 AI. The truth is, the AI you are talking about is neural networks, machine learning, and a bunch of all these other things, all these ChatGPT and generative AI things that we're talking about, right? And for machines to learn, you need to give them something, right? Data is what you give them. So machines learn from when you want to train an AI model or something, right? It's based on the data that you give it. AI is only as smart as the data that you give it. That's the same way, human beings, yes, we have logic, we can reason, but it is based on what we are exposed to, the data that we are exposed to that confines our logic and our reasoning and things like that. For example, when we talk about gravity, and I think it's Isaac Newton, right, that discovered gravity. I'm not sure. I think it's Isaac Newton, right? When we talk about gravity and we talk about Newton, right? If Newton wasn't sitting under that tree that day and the apple did not fall, he wouldn't have thought about the concept of gravity. That apple falling was enough data for him to start thinking about, oh, why did the apple fall? Why didn't it go up? When I throw things up, why don't they come down? All these kinds of things, right? So in that context as well, artificial intelligence or machine learning learns from the data that you give it. So when you're thinking about the umbrella of data analysis, other roles that you can think of there, data analytics, data engineering, business analytics, machine learning, and a couple of others as well. The next thing is cybersecurity, one of my favorites, right? Because the truth is, as we are thinking about how we're going to innovate in this life, build interesting technology, do all the nice things that we're doing, use technology to make impact in our hometowns, in the world, use technology to build things that will make us rich, use technology to build things that will make people's lives easier. However, you are thinking about innovating with technologies, bad people are also thinking about innovative ways that they will hack you. So cybersecurity is very important because I like to think of human beings as being existent in two worlds. And the funny thing is that these two worlds actually are in the shape of a globe, right? The shape of the globe, that's the internet. You know, the internet is being shaped. If you want to check the internet, you see that it's in the shape of a globe. And the world we live in is also a globe. So you have your physical self and your digital self, right? However, you protect your physical self. Oh, don't walk in some places at night. Make sure you're always at alert when you want to do this thing. Don't be mentioning your location in public, because you don't know where you are. You don't know who is listening. That's the same way you also need to protect your digital self. Don't be exposing your passwords. Don't be sharing your passwords to people, right? And these are things that you do as a person. However, there are also people within the tech industry that it is their job to protect your data as you are because security is not a one person thing, right? So as you are protecting yourself, right? As they're protecting you, you also need to protect yourself because there are some things that you can do, right? That they wouldn't be able to do, and vice versa. Like they can do and you wouldn't be able to do. For example, they can protect, in the context of the systems that your information is on. They can make sure that your data in those systems are encrypted. They can make sure that the right people have access to that data. They can make sure that people are only getting access to things they need. If we're going by principle of least privilege, things like that. That's the job of people that work in cybersecurity. But you as an individual, you also have your own job, right? Ensuring that you are always secure on the internet. But the point is, cybersecurity is also one of those roles, right? Under cybersecurity, it's an umbrella term. So under cybersecurity, are you in governance, risk, and compliance? Are you in ethical hacking? Are you in cloud security? There are different things that you can do under cybersecurity as well because of how broad the term cybersecurity is. The main thing is that, cybersecurity experts, right, sort of like help with protecting our systems, protecting our networks and our networks and our data from attacks, just so that there is confidentiality, integrity, and availability of our information on the internet as we are in tech. Because you don't want to put your money in a bank, for example, tomorrow you come and hear a security breach. You would lose confidence in that organization, in that bank. And next time you won't want to put your money inside. So cybersecurity experts exists in banks and other places so that those things don't happen. People don't lose money, people don't lose their data, and people are not at risk on the internet, essentially. The next thing is cloud engineering, my favorite. Cybersecurity is one of my favorites. Cloud engineering is definitely my favorite because I am a cloud engineer, right? I work in the space of infrastructure engineering, DevOps, and platform engineering, right? Cloud engineering is also an umbrella term for engineering on the cloud, right? And the cloud is, a place on the internet, or rather, the cloud is a place where sort of like you can't see it, right? But basically, that place, that location is able to provide computing services to you over the internet. So what could those computing services be? It could be storage, it could be networking, it could be compute. Like I want to not do all my heavy computing on my computer. I want to leverage CPUs in the cloud, right? It could be those things. Now, cloud engineering is sort of like applying engineering principles to the cloud, basically. So, how do I want to use servers on the cloud, um, to be able to store, manage, and process data? How do I want to leverage the cloud to automate things that allow, software engineers be more productive? How do I want to leverage the cloud to create platforms and services, like platform as a service, software as a service that other businesses and teams can use and pay me, So how do I create these things, these software, these applications, these platforms on the cloud that people can use and pay me for? So that's what that is. The next thing is AI, right? Everyone's talking about AI these days. And I think that everyone should be involved in AI even before I start talking, right? AI is very important. AI is going to change and is already even changing the way we interact with computers. And we should all be involved in AI, either from the perspective of being a builder or from the perspective of, being a teacher or a regulator, but not just a user, right? Because AI is supposed to be for everyone in the world. However, if certain demographics of people are the ones engaging the AI and training those AI models, you would notice that that AI is going to be biased. And as much as we're talking about bias and diversity and inclusion and things like that, we cannot sit down and wait for things to be handed, to us. We have to go out there and take our own parts of everything. So it's important that we are proactive as we involve in AI, because when I want to say when AI comes, but AI is already here, right? So it's very important that you are thinking about being in AI, whether as a regulator, whether as an AI developer, whether as someone that works on all these platforms. For example, there are platforms called Outlier, Outlier.ai. You could also check it out. And that's a good way to earn money. You can go on Outlier, and it's a tech platform where you can train AI models, right? So you are able to train AI models, and as a result of that, you are engaging in the entire process of AI. And as an AI developer as well, you are creating algorithms that allow computers to simulate human intelligence, and you're enabling applications like do things like natural language processing, image recognition. Now there's generative AI as well, and there's going to be a lot more that will come from that. So AI is also one of these things. Product management as well is is a very important skill. And when I talk about product management, I also want to state that although someone can be a product manager, that's a skill. Under product management, a product management organization, you also have people like product owners, scrum masters, project managers. So you also want to think of product management, in that way. And being a product manager, I would say a technical product manager, you are required to define, guide, and oversee the development of tech products, from the concept of, launching it, balancing user needs, the business goals, technical feasibility. The product manager is the person that interacts with software engineers, interacts with marketing and sales, in thinking about, okay, how about we interacting with marketing and sales for pushing this product out there, go to market strategy. They would also interact with legal, making sure that we are compliant, we're doing the right things. Legal and cybersecurity, by the way, making sure we're compliant, we're doing the right things, interacting with business. Are we solving the right problems, that our customers, want and things like that. So being a product manager, you sit in the middle and you're like the glue for everyone, working on um different parts in the organization, because you sort of like oversee everything beyond just writing the code. You interact with marketing for, okay, how are we going to, like, put this, how are we positioning this app in the market for marketing? You interact with design based on marketing. You interact with engineering based on design. You interact on legal, based on sales and marketing. You interact with security based on engineering. You interact with businesses. So you're doing a lot of all those things, right? Um, so it's an interesting role. And under product management, like I said, there is product management, but there's also product owner, there's Scrum Master, and there's project manager as well. Product design is where you find people designing screens, right? And when I think of product design, I don't just like to say only design, because there's also user experience that goes into product design. And for user experience, you can be a UX designer, like a user experience designer, but you could also be a UX researcher. Because if for me, I believe that a lot of things that are products or UX related are a bit psychological, right? Um, so you want to make sure that the way the screen is designed, right, is something that compels a user to want to click that particular button in the way you've designed it. And those things are playing into the psychology of someone. It's like, okay, how do users behave? What do they like? What do they hate? How do they want things to be presented to them in a way that will make them eager to interact with it, right? And those things go beyond just pressing buttons on a screen and designing things, but it's also a bit more understanding user behavior, which plays into UX research, which I said can now, go into some level of like UX psychology and things like that. So this is also another role. I've talked about many roles. I've been talking about roles for the past 20 minutes, if not more. But your hard skills are not enough. I've talked about these hard skills and these roles, but I'm telling you, unfortunately, that they're not enough, right? And I want to show you a tweet from one of my friends. His name is Raymond. He's actually one of the best software engineers I've ever known, one of the most talented software engineers I've ever known. He tweeted this thing in 2020. All right. He said, hired because you can code, fired because you can't communicate. What can this tell you? As good as you are as a technical person, there's only so much that technical skills can do for you. So you still need to have other kinds of skills to succeed in the industry. Soft skills are important in tech because they help people work well together, adapt to change, solve problems effectively, and they are a key to your career growth. And I'll give you an example. I want to introduce you to my two friends, Kosi and Kamsi, right? Kamsi and Kosi in the year 2023, they delivered the same amount of technical work, right? Their manager was happy with the both of them. However, in that year, the business was struggling. So they are not able to promote two people from this particular team. They can only promote one person. And Kosi is somebody that is more visible. So beyond the technical work that they both do, Kosi is someone that networks in the hallway. Kosi is someone that you find at lunch, interacting with other people, talking about the future, being interested in the business, volunteering in other things. If you are being very honest with yourself, they both contributed the same amount of technical work in the last year. But who do you think will get promoted? It's obviously Kosi, right? Because Kosi is more visible. Kosi is putting herself out there and doing the work to help earn recognition and build soft skills outside of hard skills and technical work, right? So you need soft skills. I am a manager today because of soft skills. Because if I didn't have good soft skills, I will be writing code. I'm not saying that writing code is bad, right? But there are other kinds of roles where soft skills are even more important than hard skills. Being a manager, for example, a product manager, right? Your soft skills are as important, if not more, than your technical skills. Same thing with being an engineering manager, which I am right now. So I'm just going to talk about a couple of soft skills that you need. The first one is communication. It's important to clearly convey your ideas. Communicate to people both in verbally and written format. Give feedback as well, because this helps your entire team stay aligned. One hack for communication as well is when you finish having a conversation with somebody, whether it's a meeting, whether you met the person on the hallway, in the office, and you people spoke about what you spoke about, go and write an email. Hi, Adora. Thank you for chatting with me today earlier at coffee about the business strategy for XYZ software. As we iterated, we are going to do this in the next quarter. Write it because people can forget and people can also decide that they want to sway you. But if those things are properly documented, documentation is also a form of communication. If those things are properly documented, there is now evidence. It's hard for people to sway you, and nobody can claim that they forgot because now there's something to fall back to, right? So it's communication is a very important soft skill at the office. It helps you convey your ideas in different formats, verbal formats, written formats, you name it. Problem solving is also very important, right? You want to have critical thinking is a very, very, very important soft skill, right, in life. right? Even beyond like your job in tech or your job in law or finance or policy or all these other industries that require this level of analytical thinking. Um, but the truth is that you need to have some level of problem solving because the truth is every day in tech, what is being thrown at you is problems. Problems in the form of code, problems in the form of software related things, in the form of AI, in the form of um a data engineering kind of problem, in the form of a security breach. It's all problems, right? So you need to be able to have critical thinking and analytical skills to help you solve those problems, create effective solutions for those problems so that you can innovate and troubleshoot better. The next thing is adaptability. In the office, let me tell you something. Anybody that tells you that you would only be doing exactly what you were hired to do is lying to you. And I'm not saying that people are lying in the job description, but the point is business requirements change. You might have gotten hired because they were working on a particular project at that time, maybe to build software for a particular bank. But let's say something happened to the economy and the bank has decided that they don't want to work on that software anymore. But the business wants to stay afloat, so they go and find other customers. Maybe now the customer they find is in soccer, is in the sports industry. And now you have to build a product for, you know, football, right? Are you going to say that you are going to quit your job? You wouldn't quit your job. I expect you not to quit your job, right? What you need to do is adapt, right? And even beyond this example that I just gave, in the tech industry, we are always adapting because if you're in cybersecurity, you are going to adapt to new ways to protect, your systems because like I said, hackers are always looking for new and interesting ways to hack you every day. There are new tools, there are new technology, there's new technologies, there are new processes. So you need to always keep learning and adapting, and that would not change in the tech industry. As I gave the example of COSI and CAMSI, when I talked about, being visible and networking, it's important to be visible and show your work, right? It's important to meet new people, collaborate, and look for ways to add impact. It's a soft skill that is um priceless and actually is good for your work in the company and outside. Networking can change your life. Networking can be a reason why people that don't know you get to know you. And in a couple of years, when they're hearing about opportunities, they think of you and they're like, oh, I remember this person I met in XYZ place. It might be a good fit for it. And they will reach out to you because you networked. So it's important that, you attend networking events, physical and virtual. You network on the internet as well. You use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is built for networking and career related things. That application can change your life. And I will honestly suggest that you take it very seriously. Um, Collaboration as well. How well do you work with others across diverse teams? Because it's very important when you are working, right, in tech, you are not just going to be working by yourself. Even if for whatever reason it is a one-person company, you are working by yourself. You are building for customers and you're going to have to interact with those customers. And so the the skill of collaboration is an important skill that you need to have. Attention to detail as well, because you want to be thorough. You don't want to write code or create a program that once your users download it, everything else on their computer is crashing. Things are not working well, right? You want to make sure that the things you write, there's accuracy, there's thorough, there's engineering excellence in the way that you do things. So attention to detail is very important. Attention to detail is what would save you from a security breach that can render your company bankrupt, right? So it's very important as a skill, attention to detail as well. I want to be sure that you people are paying attention because I talked about attention to detail right now. So please, I know I've spoken about a lot of things in this session. If you could type at least 3 soft skills that I've mentioned in this session, type them right away in the comment section. I'm looking at the comments and I can see it. And I will definitely give you shout outs if I see your own comments. Um, the next thing is time management, right? It's important to organize and prioritize your tasks, especially when, maybe there's a lot of work to do because of a looming deadline, right? If you don't have good time management skills, you will definitely, definitely, definitely struggle. And the final thing is continuous learning. Mfon, shout out to you. Like I said, right? Mfon is putting, some soft skills in the chat. Chibueze as well. Shout out to you people. Shout out to Bariu. Shout out to Emmanuel. Shout out to Ziz, great Ziz. Like I said, I promised I was going to give you a shout out, right? Um, Shout out to Musa as well. Musa, Courage, Happiness, Testament, Kehinde, Chikezie, Nkechika, Ibrahim. Shout out to all of you. Um, the final thing I want to talk about is continuous learning. It's important to, like, I feel like even beyond tech, right? The day you stop learning is the day you would start going into extinction because the whole world will move to where you are and pass you and continue moving. And technology is not any different. So it's important to keep learning, keep a growth mindset, and continue to learn. That's an important soft skill to have because it even helps you appear more inquisitive, helps you grow, helps people look at this person and say, yes, I like the fact that this person always wants to learn. And I think there will be a good fit here, XYZ, ABCD, right? Continuous learning is very important. Um, so yeah, I would definitely, definitely add that. That's the last soft skill that I want to talk about. Thank you all so much for listening to me today, for coming to this session and for taking out an hour of your time to listen to me talk about foundational skills in tech. I really hope that this session has been useful to you in some way. You can find me on Twitter at Adora Nwodo. My handle is right there. You can also find me on LinkedIn at Adora Nwodo as well. You can literally just type my name, it will come out. You can find me on my website as well. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me. I might be slow to respond because it's currently a very busy time for me. However, I would eventually respond to you. So yeah, thanks everyone. And I'm just going to hand over back to Zara now.
Wow. Well done, and thank you so much, Adora, for such an enlightening and inspiring session. And I can assure you that it's not only the fellows that have learned a lot on this session today. On behalf of the ministry and the entire 3MTT family, we are incredibly grateful for your insights today. You have not only shared, the skills and knowledge that we need to grow in tech, but you've also just sparked ideas, motivated our fellows, let us know the next steps for our continuous learning. So thank you so much. To our fellows, thank you so much for being here and engaging with so much energy. In addition to the initial shout outs, I have some shout outs of my own, especially for people that typed out the Harvard CS50 courses. So great Z's, shout out to you, Iyanda Ezekiel, Benjamin, Felix, Musa, Benita, Halima, Anikwe, Ibrahim, and Ishaya. A major shout out to you. This just shows that you were following all through this session. And we hope that everyone here, you know, would live here with a stronger foundation and a fresh inspiration to take your tech journey further, right? Once again, thank you so much, Adora, for your generous contribution. And to everyone, thank you for making this session a success. And finally, I would like to close by encouraging us to keep learning, like Adora said, keep pushing forward your tech journeys. This is just the beginning and the possibilities are limitless. So thank you, everyone, and have a lovely evening. Bye.
Everyone, bye.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Zara, and thank you so much, Adora.